Mr. Yuri Romero as our inspirational guest speaker. So, welcome, Mr. Yuri, to our humble employee meeting.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, before we ask a couple questions to Mr. Yuri, let's watch videos about our company, Bukit Vista. Okay, as a quick introduction, Mr. Yuri is a founder of Megaman Project. It's a project to change a mindset of people that for sustainable development. For more details, we're gonna ask him after this, yeah. Let's take a look at Mr. Yuri Romero inspiring journey. 2006 until 2013, he's an ops manager at Arkanautas Worldwide. 2004 until now, he's a founder of MAN Group, MAN Forum. It's an organization that concerning on humanitarian and environmental issues. The next one is 2016 until now. He's a consultant at Indonesia Indah Foundation. Moving on, 2019 until now, he is a co-founder of Sustainable Indonesia. And the most recent project is Megamind Project, 2024 until now. That's really impressive and inspiring journey, yeah. Now let's move on to the first question. Okay. Based on your extensive involvement with community-based organization through your career, could you share how you discovered your passion for building and nurturing communities? Additionally, why do you believe this focus on community building is vital for today businesses and social initiative?
Okay, thank you. Let's have a chat. Well, firstly, again, very excited to be sharing with you guys. And my approach normally is not that orthodox. You might feel it in my way of talking, and I am not a really formal educator. I am in the business of education, but my approaching is always more informal, more relaxed. And my goal is that you guys can understand my point, and it will be enough. And my point on community capacity building is I have been working on that as you just briefly mentioned since the last 14 years, and I have noticed that uh, disregard of the force and the resources that we put on the ground to move communities toward the betterment, especially particularly sustainable development, it take high cost in time and a high cost in efforts because of the lack of adaptation in the way that we approach the community or in the way that we set up initiative for moving communities toward sustainable development. And those things are coming obviously to the literacy background, to the level of education, to the cultural background, values, religiosity, all those things affect indeed the approaching of community development. Capacity building or community capacity building is a process that we work with them to help them to identify the issues that might be affecting the community and to help them to develop the skills to address those issues. So it takes time, it takes dedication, but it's indeed the long way is a shorter way to get into the solution. Because otherwise, what we do, or what more of the government agencies does, for example, and some NGOs, that they bring short-term program, trying to bring the solution, trying to import solution to the community without to engage, without to understand where the characteristic of a particular community. So every community is a new challenge. Every community has different uh, things that might be observed, and in order to make effective and and productive our input, we should observe and we should work what those characteristic. So in general, it is a well, my motivation, as you said, my motivation is I am a transformer, like yeah, like in the movie. I like to make change. I like to move forward. I like to help. I like to improve things, and I have been in the field since quite long. No wonder they call me Opa Yuri. Uh, and I I have learned a lot. I have learned a lot by doing, and coming from the very academic background, anthropology and archaeology, maritime archaeology took me to Indonesia in 2007. But the face-to-face, the engagement, the working to the people is a process which have been more nutritious for me to understand that the community development is not just a plan in the worksheet. Is a work in the field, and you need to engage and you need to work with them to bring the cultural transformation. That's it.
Wow, that's such a amazing dedication, 14 years. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the second question. In your work with the Megamind project that I mentioned earlier, you emphasize the importance of building sustainable development. Changing mindset for a group of people is not an easy task. So, could you share the step that you took to ensure a smooth transition and long-term sustainability of the change that you implement? Additionally, can you provide a specific example of a conversation-related venture that significantly impacted on sustainability?
Well, let's try to contextualize a little bit the talking. If, for example, in your organization, which you are in the business of uh, tourism and properties, and you have to work also community based. The relevance of understanding sustainability is high. I mean, it's very important. Not just the doers, but the beneficiaries of the community uh, who has uh, a better idea of what sustainability should be. It is one of the simplest questions still today. If you talk in the professional domain, not just lecturing or teaching people, no, with colleagues, with people in the field, with teachers, with people which are in the business of education. If we ask what is sustainability about, uh, in the way that they have not that clear, is still a lot of gap, because people try to visualize it or to put in the mind like a concept, but a concept that it takes hard to put on the ground. For me, it's more easy to to adapt or to adequate the knowledge to the level of comprehension of the people who has to intake this information. Sustainability shouldn't be a concept which is testing your knowledge on social science or economic. It should be it should be a tool. It should be part of the livelihood. It should be part of the lifestyle of our going every day to work or to school. So we have to change a little bit the approach, and that's why the whole idea behind the Megamind. I mean, in Megamind, in my team, I have psychologists, I have sociologists, I have people from education, I have people from tourism as well. I have people from communication. Science communication is crucial for people to understand. We talk about relevant issues about climate change or things, and people don't understand science yet, and people have, I mean, again, what we want is to bring a solution. What we want is to bring a solution which is working likewise for our organization and the community. We both need to have the same perspective. We both need to share the commonality of this uh, program or a force to address. If we don't understand the basic concept of sustainability in a way which might be applied to the beneficiaries and to the organization, is so challenging. So one of the things I'm trying to do is to change the narrative on that things, to change the narrative. If I am working with the community of farmer, obviously I am not expecting to have any scientific based dialogue, but even though the concepts are scientific based, but I'm trying to put down to their bahasa, to their language, to their local wisdom, to their cultural values, and we have to bridge these things in the way they see, that's it. That's what sustainability is about. So they are willing to engage, they are willing to collaborate, and they might understand that at the end they will be also be the beneficiaries. So it is the art of communication. Basically, it is the art of communication, and it is in the way that we should. I guess that you might be facing those challenges in your work, but I think that the most important is to try to contextualize with the community we are working on, or with the community where our business is set up, and try to work with them for make them understand what are you doing, why are you doing that, and how to move forward together.
I see. So it should be part of livelihood. So the communication is crucial, yeah. So in this, as you
Indeed, indeed.
mentioned, yep, as you mentioned under Megamind, you have like multiple role. So as a sociopreneur with Sustainable Indonesia, you work on building sustainable capacity. What
Yeah.
are some practical steps that companies like Bukit Vista can take to integrate sustainable practice to their daily operation? And how can we inspire our employees to embrace these changes?
Well, we'll go back to the previous question. I mean, you guys have to understand very well what is sustainability. You guys have to understand the multi-dimension of sustainability, not just from the perspective of your uh, position in the organization, but for your role in the society. And once you understand that very well, you start questioning things, and then you start developing this capacity. With a little bit of guidance, with a little bit of coaching, uh, the journey might be shorter, but it's basically to to understand that every impact we have in the business sector, or every move we have in the business sector might have an impact in society and in the environment. And it is the logical consequence, as it is called, the logical consequence of our way to approach the business, the way that we set up a daily operation, the way that we design our business plan and organization, financial growth, and all the things that might be observed in in the will, or with the will to have sustainability within the organization. It is not an easy challenge. Why? Because we are so permeated. We are so uh, into the old fashion character of what is a business about. I mean, this uh, time change, challenge are different, and we should adapt. I guess it is something that you might be talking quite often in your organization. The capacity for adaptation is a is the biggest challenge for this century. And within this uh, challenge that we have to develop the capacity is sustainability, because as simple as we cannot keep taking today in one direction without a guarantee that tomorrow we are going to have. So try to put that question in the framework of your organization. Try to observe in this way tourism, which is an industry which is growing exponentially since the last 50 years, but which is an industry which is questioning so seriously the potential to make it sustainable or not. Even though we used to talk a lot about sustainable tourism, we are still far from doing that. So what can you do to make your organization to be a contributor or be a player paving the way for sustainable tourism in Indonesia or in Asia region? So it is important. It is important again to questioning your approaching, your design, the way that you implement, the way that you work with the local communities. Actually, what triggered or the reason I am speaking here today is because I have a very short but interesting conversation with Kyla, and we were chatting a little bit about that. I mean, the challenge of working with the community are there. It's not easy, and we have to take it in the most wiser way possible. So be sharp, keep learning, and understand how you can make. I mean, I cannot put it in the few minutes. What is sustainability or what could be sustainability in your organization? I am sure that you guys have the commitment to move forward, or the leaders in your organization have the commitment to move forward a more sustainable approach into your business. But I'm telling you that it is not just an intention. It could be in the long term. It will be an obligation because we have to play with the resources. We have to play with what we have in the sustainable way in order to guarantee the future of the business. So sustainability is an investment. It's not. It's not just an idealistic or altruistic approach to economic development. It is an investment. It's an investment in future. It's an investment in the future of your business.
Okay, so transformation is never easy, yeah. So I believe this is like quite new, maybe for some or a lot of us. We need to understand what is sustainability development to
Mhm.
implement the Megamind project that doing, yeah. So alright, because the time is up, we're gonna move into the meeting section. For Mr. Yuri, feel free to stay if you want, or if you can leave if you have other agenda. It's a pleasure having you to this meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and you guys have a nice meeting. Bring on with enthusiasm the discussion. Okay.
Okay. So the meeting section will be led by our moderator. So Kak Krishna, please take a lead.
Sure. Thank you, Vanes. Thank you for hosting the talk. Thank you also, Yuri, for the talk. It was insightful for all of us. Now, let's give the floor to Kak Kaila for presenting us hospitality revenue target. To Kak Kaila, time is yours.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Let me share the screen. Good morning, Yuri. Long time no see.
Morning, Kayla.
Okay. I'm gonna take over on this part since Jing taken a sick leave. Right. Moving on. First, before we begin, anyone would like to guess which property is this? Make a wild guess on the comment section. Okay, hear me more about which unit anyone would like to specify. Wrong, not Aki. Maybe Mas Rehan or Kashelin. Dela, let's test your product knowledge. Or Mas Bayu. I bet not everyone here actually know the names of the units from Mimoya then. All right, this is Mimo. Marcel's correct. Agus Weda correct. Thank you. Yeah, maybe let's try to enhance our product knowledge starting from this part, guys. This is Mimoya, unit Mimo, correct? Thank you. Let's start to see what's interesting this week. Okay, so Just a quick questions. Based on some listing status, I'm gonna give each one of us like maybe 10 seconds stops. Could you guess which one is a golden guest favorite? So not only a guest favorite, but a golden guest favorite. Take a while, guess, and please write them down on your comment section. Interesting. Mas Wayudi, Belasi. Yeah, this is like an exam. A, B, C, or D. Oh, sorry. This is A, this is B, C, D. Sorry. The yellow one should be B. Thank you, Kagri, for details matter. D, okay. Okay. Thank you, everyone. So this is A, this is B, this is C, and this is D again. Let's try to see which actually is the golden gas favorite. And the answer is this part. So we put here on the introductions, basically just to give an interesting awareness. So Mimoe Natsu, we are at 4.74. It's listed under guest favorite, but not the golden ones. Permana 4.75, guest favorite, but not a golden one. The same even Kokomo 5 overall, but not a golden. But why Mimoya 4.89 and it is a golden? Anyone would like to make a wild guess? Please turn on your mic. There will be a gift basically if you would like to speak. From
All
Kashila.
above 4.9?
Good. Thank you, Kagre. The motivational issue would be on the incentive. Thank you, Kagre. Yes, actually on this part, if you take a closer look, even though the overrating would put on 4.89, basically every component here showed a minimum of 4.9, and it can only happen to only one sections. So for all of their sections, please just make sure you have it on 5.0 if you would like to put it on the golden guest favorite. Golden means that the listing is in the top 10% of all eligible listings based on the ratings. Congratulations for the people working on this, awareness uh, for the check-in and also the accuracy. I think we put some good photos there. The hosting team, basically everyone, the pricing's good. Let's try to maintain that first, especially because Mimoya previously have 2 golden guests, but we kind of lost one due to bad review. So let's try to maintain this. Okay. This is on behalf of Mr. Jing actually. Let's try to take a look on how are we doing for the last 1 year. So the good news is our peak is increasing, our low score is also increasing, basically showing a positive trend. You can see that there is an upward curve here, quite significant. If you're curious on digging deeper as to why it happens, you may consult to your supervisors and check even on your side to see how it's happened. Okay. What could be the potential reasons, basically? Not only for the peak that we're having here, but basically for this trend. Our low score is increasing and the peak is increasing too. So we have a couple of things. At the moment, there are many variables contributing to the high level of success in terms of hospitality. Can we pinpoint the exact reason? At the moment, not quite. But are we getting closer? Definitely. So for the last 2 weeks, we have been holding daily strategic meetings. The purpose is to basically to monitor, to measure, and make decisions on whether the strategy is effective or not. Therefore, we can either maintain a quality or make necessary adjustment as fast as we can. This is crucial basically to ensure that we can continue what is effective, what is working to keep on doing that, and probably change course or pivot when something is not working. This is the main question we have on daily basis. Okay, having this meeting is also a strategy, but this is not the main contributor because this is just a movement. So during this meeting, we have identified several misunderstandings regarding our previous strategies that we've been having for months. I'd like everyone to take a look on this part first because we realize that strategy is actually not something that just being assigned to certain role, but actually happens on your daily basis. No matter what is your role, no matter what is you're doing, the scope of your work, you have to realize and be aware whether you do something correctly or incorrectly, and you can identify it firsthand. There are five things here. The first one, leaving when you should stay. So when something is working but you're not sure whether it's working or the reason as to why, and you decide to leave, well, you kind of have to be prepared for the consequence, basically, because the moment you live it that way, you're gonna have to see maybe the decrease of performance, maybe basically the failing of metrics. That is what happens. Second one, this is the hardest to see, but actually something that relates to not understanding how we see things on different perspective, which is staying where you should live. So when something is not working, you keep on doing this every day, every month, and then you find out that you're not really giving impact. You have to start question it, why would you keep on doing that, and whether you are on the right course, because it cannot only happen on your supervision level but also on the executor level. If, for example, Mawayana, I think this is on daily basis, I would appreciate her for this. She keeps on doing something every day for GS part, but there would be days when she see Kyla, the cleanliness is not working. The cleanliness keep on having this decrease. The staff is not performing well, even though I inspect the property for like 4 times this month. That is where you have to start making the triggers. What it is that you keep on doing, or your supervisor or your task delegator do, that maybe needs some changes. Maybe you're just not doing it correctly. The third one, focusing on the bad and forgetting the good. This is pretty similar with identifying the first and second one. After you do, make sure that you just basically document all of the things that you do, so you can know that if something happens, if it's working, if it's not working, please make sure that you pay attention to those things. The fourth one, failing to recognize the impact of character and courage. Some people would um, basically belittle this or not really understanding how this is. But once you have courage, when you have more curiosity, basically to do something or to just believe in something that you keep on doing and you know that it gives impact, you have to notice that uh, those things are actually not that simple. Those things are really not that little that you can actually put this into culture. So basically, if you see your team members, you see your peers doing something that is out of courage, doing something um, out of curiosity, please make sure that you appreciate them to nurture the habits and to basically build up the culture. And the fifth one, this is the most scariest part, I think, and the one that is we easily, even on supervision level, on strategic level, we kind of have ourselves stuck in here. A false sense of honor. So you have to start differentiate whether you accomplish something on end result or you're just doing activity. For example, on daily basis, you have 5 things you have to do. You have to be sure that the 5 thing you do actually impacting something, or you're just doing that. You're just finishing your task. Please try to differentiate that, because we don't want that at the end of the month, at the end of the day, you feel like you have done a lot of things, but none of them working, none of them actually resulting to something. Be careful on that part. And if you find yourself starting to detect that, please escalate to your supervisor or your leaders, basically, to clarify the roles that you have and then the goals that you guys have set, and basically where you are on that part. Okay, if you'd like to see more, check this out. Click on the link, link in the advertisement, but just take a look on that. We have example case and so on and so forth. All right, let's get back on track regarding the target that we have. For revenue target, we have 3 million US dollar for hospital target, 80% for 5-star ratings, and 4.8 for the overall rating. All right, let's see how far are we along the hospitality target. On the accuracy part, good news. Please keep on doing regarding I think the SPP and then the content request, and sorry, the listing improvement that we have in terms of getting more awareness and accuracy in this part. We have an increase of 0.6%. Let's keep on doing that. Then we have check-in. Unfortunately, this is a bit of decrease. I think we can point out why, because we have detected some issues regarding a misinformed key code, automatic key code regarding some properties. I believe it's being handled by the engineering team. Let's try to get this back up to 87 something. Next, on the cleanliness, we've been able to see positive trend basically for the last 2 weeks. At the moment, we are at 79.7%, but the goal remains the same. We need to get this back to 80. So let's try to keep on doing what we've been doing. Next, on the communication, also a good side. So kudos to the hosting team and also the engineering team holding Gaia responsible for this part. Thank you for the improvement, and let's try to enhance the supervisory level, especially, and keep on making the good quality reports to be able to not exactly having the same issues again and again. On the location, a bit of decrease. At the moment, we are 74.4%. And this is pretty aligned with the check-in actually. And for value, we have gotten back to 80%. This is also heavily affected by our pricing decisions too, and how a guest perceive the value of a property. This is basically an overall, so let's try to keep on thinking the end-to-end guest experience instead of focusing on each metrics alone. All right, how far are we regarding the overall quality? At the moment, we have achieved 81.4% for the 5-star ratings and 4.73 for the overall rating. We are on track regarding 5 stars, not quite there for the overall rating, so let's try to achieve it by this month on 4.75. Right. Moving on to the revenue target achievement. On the left side, you can see the comparison between the ideal revenue and actual revenue. So for May, we have been able to surpass our ideal target, but we haven't exactly achieved the long way that we're gonna achieve. At the moment, we are at 1,483,830 US dollar. We still have around 118 days with revenue percentage left around 53%. Okay, let's try. We have 3 months, 4 months to go regarding this part. Let's try to optimize this, especially since we have the high season, peak season coming in for June and August. Let's try to do our best and keep on hustling, especially on the team holding reservations and revenue management side. Okay, I think that's all for me. Thank you, and gets back to Krishna, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Kak Kayla, for providing us with an update to our goal and sharing about common misunderstanding regarding strategy that happening on the company. Now, moving on to weekly mission inspiration. Let's see the good stuff here. Okay, scroll down a bit, Anis. Okay, on the positively transform our guests, we have Amanda. Amanda, could you share your story?
Okay, thank you, Kak Krishna. So one of our guests in Uluwatu Kayana experienced several issues during her stay, such as unpleasant bathroom odor and also stain sheets. So I made sure the staff are aware and also changing the sheets and removing the odor and give the guest compensation. And the guests left the property with a great sentiment and great mood. So they left us a 5-star rating. That is all from me. Thank you, Kak Krishna. Back to you.
Thank you, Amanda, and all the ops team for handling the case properly. On the partner side, we have Kak Gani. Kak Gani, please take it away.
Okay, thank you, Krishna. Good morning, everyone. So from the partnership side, we have noticed that the business plan is the final and the most significant point of contact for prospect before they decide whether or not to partner with us. To reduce this engagement and increase understanding, marketing team trying to improve knowledge management by providing an FAQ section at the business plan template and video explainer. This might be not perfect yet, but we keep doing iteration and keep improving. So please, everyone, if you guys notice something odd or something aneh, please give us a feedback. Thank you.
Thank you, Kak Gani. Thank you also for the initiative in handling knowledge management. Okay, on the employee side, we have Kak Shelin. Kak Shelin, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Krishna. So this is actually more into the UNER company visit and hackathon last week, last Friday and last Saturday. So this is big thanks to the HR/PR team, the engineering team, the content team, as well as Moayan for making this event alive and happening. So basically, we were hosting like 100 students and 2 lecturers sama 2 dosen gitu, like for the event in Bali base and in Horizon Aman Hotel for the event. And since the base capacity is limited, so we have to split into 2 batches, like even in 2 batches, like around 50 people at one time, it's a bit packed also. And this is actually like thanks to Mr. Jing's intervention for splitting the batch into 2. If we put everyone in that, I don't know, we might have like a huge chaos then. And the hackathon event, basically, if you see the pictures over there, it's pretty busy, and fulfilling. On day 1, it's more into like technical presentation from Vidi and Vito, and we also have like brainstorming and like mini games section by the end of the day. And on day 2 is more into the presentation as well as the prize giving. So basically, the main point of this event is to do talent spotting for the engineering team, and we have contacted few of them yesterday, and we'll have few of them joining us soon, actually. Yay. So the goal is basically on track, just to update the engineering team on this one. So you guys can browse the photos in the links over there or in the all hands page. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kak Shelin. Thank you everyone for arranging the event. Hosting 100 students is not an easy job. Okay, now on the technological innovation, that would be by me first. On the 3S automation, Vanessa, you can go on the picture there. Okay, on your bigger, you can access new section called property classification. There are several utility on this new updates. Number 1, automatic property classification. So before this, Kak Kayla always create the ranking on the SDP, SUP, SP manually. Now user can still adjust manually ranking if needed, but only if there is adjustment required, and all the ranking would be generated automatically. Next photo on the second one, Vanessa, on the filter. Okay. On the advanced filtering option, there are several options that user can customize, starting from the date, starting from maybe specific classification only, maybe for top 10 only, or maybe the non-top 10 on certain classification. Next images, Vanessa. Okay, thank you. This is ranking history tracking. So each property now has a detailed ranking history. So user can track whether one property is progressing or regressing over time. Last picture, okay, on the automatic task assignment. So now tasks are automatically assigned based on specific property component. For instance, if said property has low review conversion rate, as you see on the image displayed by Vanessa, a task will be automatically created for the ops team to encourage past to leave a review. And this is also happened for another component as well. Okay, that's all for this system and the development plan. Next enhancement will be next week. This task will be automatically translated into HubSpot, and there is also a sign-in there so that we can do daily assignment based on the automatic task generated based on the property classification. And also for current performance review, the ranking generation process now takes around 30 minutes in the worst case scenario. Previously, it requires around 500 minutes for Kak Kayla to generate the ranking. And for accuracy, it's fairly accurate, adhering to the evaluation and scoring method agreed upon by the user, which is Kak Kayla as the user. We will continue to monitor the result and progress over the upcoming weeks to ensure this project actually working and actually being used by the user. I think that's all. Thank you. Moving on to Kak Robin. Kak Robin, please share your innovation.
Okay, previously opening the booking message took a long time and sending message was also slow. Now opening and send booking message is much faster. So when our partner send a booking message, the message will be sent immediately and they are no longer to reload the entire page. And we have successfully reduced the booking message loading time from 10 seconds to less than 3 seconds. Can you please click the next image, Vanes? No, the second image. Okay, previously our partner could only send one booking message with one photo. Now our partner can send up to 10 photos from gallery or camera in one booking message. This will be very useful for our partner when they want to report room readiness because they are no longer to need to send one message per photo. Next image, please. Okay, and we also made several enhancements to the expense feature, such as adding a date, expense value format, notes, and expense attachment. Next photo, please. So this is a new UI for booking message. Next. Okay, next. Next. Okay, thank you. I will force update for our user to the latest version of Vivigo by tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kak Robin, for solving the Bivigo issues. Now, because Kak Vito is not here, I will read it for him. So it's about Echo second iteration. We just achieved the bare minimum on the target. There are still a lot of improvement room. On the deeper breakdown, from 20 sample, we got 10 correct, 4 incorrect, and 6 analysis needing improvement. For our commitment, we will focus on the categorization refinement, excluding those from BD and only analyze the client. We also want to increase the accuracy of original answer because Gaia need to be improved on the original answer. On the development plan, we are securing commitment from user, which is now Kak Marcel, to analyze and provide feedback for Echo. On June, for Echo project, we focus to collect feedback from Kak Marcel, and the third iteration and enhancement will be happening on next month. That's all for the Echo project. Lastly, we have Apollo updates from RD. RD, please take it away.
Okay, this is Apollo milestone. Milestone to aim 100 supervised for revenue projection document or reduce time to make revenue projection document. The key of development, embedding Google Maps URL at the right now, not only Denpasar Airport, but also Jogja Airport, and then auto-generating expense input, automate the generation of expense input based on existing knowledge of property expense, and ensure expense are dynamic and update as needed. And then correlation data for analysis, connect the booking windows, review, and length of stay. The data correlate the data with the number of bedroom for each property, and then integrating local amenities for revenue projection. Utilize knowledge of local amenities such as restaurant, natural attraction, or necessities. This information for enhance the revenue projection. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ardi, for sharing. that's the end of weekly mission inspiration. We are transitioning to company team and company wide focus. Kak Kayla, floor is yours.
Okay, thank you everyone. Let's start with 1 second. Okay, let's start with seeing the recap. We can skip this part. Vanessa, it's okay. We haven't renewed that. Let's jump into the May recap and June target first. So for May recap, as you guys can see, we have been able to achieve okay target for all metrics. Yay! Congratulations, everyone. Alhamdulillah, everyone. Okay, tough months. Alright, for June, let's try to maintain the same spirit dan jangan meleng dulu ya. For okay target, Bella has set 450,000. Semangat, Pandu semangat, Cynthia semangat, Kagri semangat, Wahyu semangat. For 5-star percentage, we have set the okay target for 82% and overrating 4.75 to able to achieve the semester target milestone. Yeah, okay, semangat, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So what are our opportunities basically? Until now, we have managed to have a starting point of 34%, 38 occupancy basically for now, 1% expired dates, 2% maintenance, and 2% owner usage. As you guys can see, the trend going up to the peak season should have less blockage from the partners. We have 55% nights available to sell to achieve the okay target. So semangat Bella dan teman-temannya revenue management. Okay, let's directly jump into the weekly company focus first. Okay, Vanessa can go to the second part. This is actually the sections after the company team. Nah, di bawahnya itu. Nah, terima kasih. Okay, so as we have always announced, gitu, basically, these are the main focus that we're gonna have this week. So, if you'd like to take a deeper look upon this, kindly do so. If you have anything you would like to give feedback on, also if you have any new ideas, please kindly let your supervisor or your leaders know. Most importantly, if you find yourself not working or not spending your every hour supporting one of these milestones, please be aware of that because it will directly impact your employee journal. And it will determine what are your focus or your roles assignment basically. Okay, I think that's all, Krishna. Just a quick one, and gets back to you. Thank you, Vanessa.
Okay, thank you, Kak Kayla, for delivering the good news. Hopefully, we can maintain our pace for achieving goals on the next month. Now, let's bring Kak Shelin to deliver some good news from the employee side. Kak Shelin, time is yours.
Okay, thank you. So two people, yeah. So I think the other one has been already announced, but okay, let's just re-announce again. Okay, so I believe as per the previous week, this was already announced in Slack. So announced by Marcel, yeah, previously, I believe, right? Okay, so we're here to announce that Kayla has been recently promoted as the VP of Operations trainee. Jadi kayak exactly di bawahnya Marcel ya, as the President of Operations. So basically Kayla will oversee the whole operational team lah ya, dari segi gas, partnership, from the revenue side as well. So congrats dan semangat Bukai. It's probably not going to be an easy journey, but semangat. And the other one is to Ganesh. Unfortunately, he's not here ya, karena biasanya online-nya pas weekends. So Ganesh has recently been promoted as a senior content creator, even though he's a part-time. Amazing kan ya? So I believe Ganesh has been like contributing a lot in terms of the content that we produce in the photo shoots or maybe in other types of content, and this is where he has shown his true capabilities as well. So that's why we reward with this promotion, gitu sih. Okay, so yeah, I think for Ganesh, you can personally Slack him because he's not here, yeah, unfortunately, and you can just congratulate him directly when you meet him, yeah. Itu aja. Oh, you're here. Okay, nice. So yeah, you guys can congratulate Ganesh over here. Kukira lu offline, sorry. Okay, itu aja. Thank you and back to Krishna.
Okay, thank you, Kak Shelin, for the positive news. Congrats for Ganesh and Kak Kayla. You guys totally deserve it. Okay, this is time for core value recognition. Okay, on the core value recognition, the first one from Kak Shelin. Please, Kak Shelin.
Okay, from me again, yeah. Okay, this is basically to everyone's who's involved in the UNER event last week. So from the HRPR team to Dea and to Furkan, from the engineering team to Bayu, Vidi, Vito, Ali, Widya, Rifki, as well as Abam and Farnes, to content team Weda and Ganes, as well as to Moya, to Mok Wayana over here. So to all of these people, I'd like to say my gratitude to each one of you for making the event happening and to basically make the event alive and to inspire delight. And thank you for putting up with me as the project manager yang masih ada kurang-kurangnya di sana sini with the limitations of the event planning and executions. But overall, I hope you guys had fun during the event and mungkin ada beberapa yang baru ketemu for the first time, right? So hope you guys enjoyed the event. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next, to Rifki. Rifki, are you here?
Yes, I'm here, Krishna.
Okay, please go on.
Yeah, so I think that everyone is recognized here for the event, but for yesterday's event, Mowayan is always putting up an effort to attend the event to inspire delight, actually. So yeah, back to you, Chris.
Okay, thank you, Rifki. Thank you, Mawayana as well.
Thank you.
Okay, next, do we have, oh, I believe we don't have Kak Vito. So Kak Vito said that thank you so much, guys, to succeed the hackathon event. The event went really well. Many participants contact me personally to express their enjoyment and excitement during the event. That's it. Okay, next, from Matthew. Matthew, please read the core value recognition.
Okay, thank you, Kak Chris. So I would like to recognize Mas Hafiz since on last Saturday I was assigned to do content support, and he chat me first at that time, even though it's his day off. He helped me by giving me some notes that will be my guideline on working my listing optimization works. So big thanks, Mas Hafiz.
Oke, thank you Matthew. Itu memang Hafiz hanya hero memang. Thank you. Next, from myself, to Kak Vidi. I want to express my heartfelt appreciation untuk Kak Vidi because last week Kak Vidi handling on the hackathon event, but I also need help on online event which is Bangkit mentoring session, and he juggling from online and offline event on the same time. So I cannot thank Kak Vidi enough for his dedication and support to his team. Thank you, Kak Vidi. Moving on. Okay, that's it. Do we have enough time for personal updates, Kashel?
We can make up to maximum 5 minutes extension, I think.
Okay, cool. Then we proceed to personal updates. A question of the week. Imagine yourself as a property owner. What would you name your very first villa and why you choose to name it that way? Okay, first from Purkon. Villa Bejar-Bejir. Okay, that's a unique one. I want my guests to have a Bejar-Bejir experience. Okay, that's also makes sense as a reason. Okay, now moving on to Kak Shelin.
Probably Villa Ace or Ace Villa. Like, who doesn't want to be an Ace, right? Yeah, but not to be confused with Ace Hardware. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the
I was
clarification,
thinking.
Kak Shelin. Now, moving on to Kak Robin.
Villa Gus Robin Syariah.
Oke, thank you. Pasti ada surat nikah untuk syarat reservasinya. Oke, selanjutnya Bang Ardi.
Villa Blue Green.
Oke, thank you. Vanes.
Yeah, Villa Vanes. So people know that the villa is owned by Vanes. Yeah, that's it.
Oke, sangat deep sekali ya meaningnya ya. Selanjutnya, Sayid.
Villa Fresh Oasis because when people read the villa names, it's fresh like the Oasis, so make the people want to stay there forever.
Oke, thank you for sharing. Kak Abam.
Villarreal. There's a football club called Villarreal.
Oke,
Yeah, that's it.
thank you Kak Abam. Kak Vito, Neo Villa, My Cat. Oke. Rifki, silakan.
For me, it's Los Villa.
Oke, hopefully guys doesn't get lost to your villa ya. Kak Vidi.
Omah kita, so that it feels like a home.
Oke. Agak mainstream ya Kak Vidi ya. Kayak ada 100 properti namanya Omah kita. Oke, Kak Bayu.
Actually no idea because belum ada ya. Tapi based on location atau apapun, maybe something like itu random.
Oke, ini lebih unik lagi ya dari sisi marketingnya ya. Nanti dikira plat nomor kata Kak Erika. Oke, Matthew.
Okay, Kak Chris. From me, since the property will be on hills area and it's usually temperaturnya cukup dingin ya. So I'll keep it simple, Villa Adem.
Oke, that's a creative pick there. Kak Sri Utami.
For me, it's Ophelia. Actually, it's from Wednesday Island, Ophelia Falls.
I love Wednesday series as well. I'm looking forward for the season 2. Oke, Mas Rehan.
Yeah, Go Lagoon or Jack Kahuna Laguna.
Oke, another creative pick there. Mas Hafiz.
The Unseen Villa from my Mobile Legend name.
Oke, The Unseen Villa. Ini banyak yang lost juga nih bareng sama punya siapa tadi? Punya Rifki. Oke, Mas Agus.
Villa Nakama from One Piece.
Oke, One Piece lover here. Mas Gani.
Villa Matahari.
Oke, kita semua tahu sebenarnya kita bisa skip untuk nyanyi Mas Gani ya. Kak Dela.
It's a high villa because why not?
It's okay. Another deep, meaningful reason behind name. Kak Erika.
Ini villa.
Ini villa. Oke. Another marketing purposes pick di sana. Mas Konang.
Yeah, for me it's Villa Hotaru. It's a Japanese translation for konang-konang. Yeah.
Oke, ini one step level dari Vanes ya. Ganti bahasanya aja. Oke. Mas Wahyu.
For me, it's Villa Thale, which means sea in Thai.
I love the pronunciation there. Okay, thank you, Mas Wahyu. From me, Villa Ruby, because it's just my cat's name and I love him. So I put the name there. Chicken Ruby lagi tidur. Kak Grey.
Safe haven biar menjadi safe haven bagi orang-orang.
Mantap sekali. Dari Beli Ketut, Waka. The nickname nama Waka. Used by my parents is already being used as the current business name. Oh, business name legacy. Oke, Kak Bella.
Oke, me bikinnya bottom with pineapple concept. Thank you.
Oke, thank you. Ini bisa collab nanti sama Mas Rehan ya. Oke, Kak Marcel.
Rock bottom.
Oke, satu konsep juga ya, bisa langsung bikin bisnis grup di sana. Cynthia.
Biru pink villa with pastel blue and pink color.
Iya, ini konsepnya mirip sama tadi Mas Ardi, ya, blue green. Oke, Kak David.
Villa Sembiring from my surname.
Oke, satu konsep sama ideologi Vanes juga ya di sini ya. Sekarang Kak Tendi. I will give name Mason Atmosphere. Suasana rumah feels like in home. Oke, akhirnya ada yang normal di sini. Pandu, silakan.
If I have money to buy a villa, I will sell it and create a PlayStation rental instead. So yeah, it will be Villa PlayStation 5 rental hardcore. Okay, that's the name. Because in Bali there are not many PlayStation rental, so it will be profitable.
Oke, di sini Pandu merubah question of the week-nya. Oke, menarik. Sekarang Amanda.
Okay, for me it's Fuchsia Village from because it's Luffy's hometown from One Piece.
Fuchsia Village. Oke, satu konsep ya tadi ya. One Piece. Sekarang mau Ayana.
Moana Villa.
Fun Tropical Adventure. Oh iya, ini kayak movie juga Moana. Oke.
Yep. I get
Boleh, Bo.
inspiration from there.
I see. Kak Kayla.
Oke, kediaman Ibu Retno. It's my mom's thing. Gak tahu, thank you.
Kediaman Ibu Retno. Oke, ini sebelahnya villanya Mas Bayu juga ini pasti. Thank you. I think that's all for the personal updates. I will give it back to Vanes.
Okay, thank you, Kak Krisna. So maybe that's it for today All Hands meeting. Thank you for everyone who joined and keep the spirit high.
Thank you for hosting. Have a lovely day, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great week.
Have a good week, everyone.